Hello, hello. Live again. Have you designed your future baby yet? Have you made plans for your designer baby? It can be done. And I just recently saw this, and I'm going to talk about this company that is actually offering they will help you design your baby. So that's where we are in the story of Homo sapiens. We can now design our future babies. Um, I know what people are going to say. That's wrong and all of that, and I feel that's wrong too. But there are different aspects to this, and it may not be as you know clear cut, black and white, and so on, as people might feel that it is. And I'm going to share my opinion on this. I'll try to keep it short because I have other things to do as well. Um, so this company is called Nucleus, and they offer in vitro, what's it called? In vitro fertilization. So that's according to Dr. Google. No, it's according to Oxford Languages. I try not to use Google, but I found this doing a Google search actually out of laziness. But it says that this is Oxford Languages, their definition: a medical procedure whereby an egg is fertilized by sperm in a test tube or elsewhere outside the body. um, it can be done apparently inside the body, inside the woman's body. But the whole point here is, as far as I understand, that you can take out, and I don't think they can do this inside the body. That's not really the point. So they take out. This is a technique that will advance as we move forward in time, I guess. But they are saying that they will allow you to pick an embryo for in vitro fertilization. And before you pick the one you want, you will be presented with the prospects for that one embryo. So longevity is one of those factors, and of course diseases, but also I believe this is very, very close to, or maybe absolutely already included with things like intelligence. And what height was mentioned actually. I don't know if that is true, but might be. So what we're talking about here is actually you can, to a large extent, pick and choose which embryo you want to use based on the information of the genes, the analysis of those embryos. And I think that the obvious thing here is that this will create a different class of people. And this is like in science fiction books, movies. This is has been written about and made movies about for a long time now. So in search of the perfect human being, we end up with something that is absolutely not good at all, because it will lack that human factor in a way. You get what I'm saying? It's the imperfections that make us humans in a way. That's how I feel. So, um, is it not new, Scottish guy? If you want to investigate something more interesting, well, I think this is interesting. This is maybe it's not new. I think actually it's new in the sense that they are now offering this to people in a commercial way. There are ads. They have ads out there for this, right? They have ads out there, and they're trying to make this big business big into big business. This is this is different because I've never seen a company offering what they are offering here. Now, if I was more advanced, there you go. I'm not that advanced as a human being. Um, um, you can go to their website. It's just mynucleus.com. Take the tour. You can. There's an app. It seems like there's an app here. You can. Oh yeah, yeah. You can pick eye color, hair color, height, IQ, and autism. Oh no, we don't want autism. So they choose that away. Gone with that. Um, oh yeah, they're big proponents of ChatGPT. It seems like. Um, so yeah, family planning. You can simulate your baby, see your baby's predicted risk for hundreds of common conditions. We'll get back to that. You can match here with diseases that you might pass on to your kids, you and your partner or husband. It's family. It's funny, funny family. It's funny because they're very. There is no woke stuff here. It's like because you can't. Yeah, let's leave that the woke stuff. So let's move on here. We help thousands of people. They say, simple, easy. Plan your family. Much better insights. Which of the 20 embryos should we implant? And this and that. Don't let your family history define your family's future. So, this is quite remarkable in the sense that they're marketing this quite heavily now. They have gotten into CNBC, Fortune, Forbes, the Washington Post, and so on and so on. And what I will say is that as this becomes cheaper and more available, more and more people will do it. And this is different from in vitro fertilization. This is a pick and choose technology, right? Add to this the women who will then pick and choose, um, if they don't have a man, right? The women that will pick and choose the semen from some donor, and they can pick and choose there. They can pick and choose from their own, uh, eggs, and all of that. So I'm sure you all understand and can see how where this is heading, and it's heading to a place that I don't think is a healthy place. We should not be there. Um, so it's kind of scary. That being said, this technology is a good technology in the sense that you can choose a way you can avoid diseases, life-threatening diseases. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing because suffering is, let's try to avoid suffering if we can. Um, but when they are talking about eye color, height, IQ, we're not talking about avoiding suffering, avoiding diseases anymore. We are talking about designing a baby. And I think that's, I don't think that's good. So I don't know. I will say that the most interesting people I have met in, they are not perfect people. They are people with flaws. We all have flaws. And I think that even if you try to design your baby, you will end up with that human being will be a human being with flaws. So, yeah. Another thing that should be mentioned here is that in many parts of the world, people don't want to have a daughter, they want to have a son. Um, China, for instance, it's a well known fact that women in the Western world, here in Norway, it's been a well known fact for a long time that they will try to lie and sometimes manage to lie about the date of contraception so that they can get an abortion. And the only reason they have an abortion is because it's a girl and they're supposed to have a boy. Um, and when you look at a technology like this, it's obvious that it will be used for that. I think I'm not a doctor. But I will assume that you can see the. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I would guess that you can predict the sex of the baby already at that stage. I don't know. But this whole thing is a bit disturbing, and I don't know what to say really. It's one of those cases where I feel like I don't belong to this modern world at all. You know, and I will say that yes, I understand that people have a need to see their bloodline continue, and I'm a father myself, and maybe I would maybe I don't understand the pain that many people have when they can't have a child. I was going to say, why don't they adopt? But, and yeah, why don't they adopt instead? If instead of designing a baby, but it's like easy for me to say as a father. Um, yeah. So, what do you guys think? They are marketing this as not just in vitro fertilization, but IVF plus. IVF plus. Have your best baby. The new way to bring your baby home. Get started. Yeah. So, question here: do you think in the future human beings will be made in farms like in the film The Matrix? No, I don't think so. Um, maybe in a distant future, maybe. I think it would be very even if it would be possible to do that, I think it would ethically be so horrible that it would be made illegal, hopefully, because that connection between the baby and the mother, while the baby is still in the womb, it's a I can't imagine what it would do to you if you don't have that. If you grow up like if it's a machine doing that, I don't I don't think we can even imagine what that would mean, how that would shape that child in a negative way. Maybe AI won't care about ethics, wants to use the energy of the human body as an energy resource. Yeah, that's Matrix. The first Matrix movie is obviously a very good movie. It became sort of a little bit prophetic, you know. Um, yes. So this is where we are. I just wanted to comment on this. I think there's something. I see this again. If I was more advanced, hopefully in the future there will be people more advanced than me, and then in the future, people that are very advanced, they will get into this like with no questions at all, and they will have this. I don't know. I'm looking at if yeah, I was going to say if I was more advanced, I would have included the images here on the screen. There is a way to do that. Maybe I should. But I'm looking at the smartphone, not the smartphone, an image of the smartphone here with the app, the Nucleus app, where you can sit and design your baby. Or rather, your baby's first preview, eye color, hair color, height, IQ, autism, and 2014 more things there. Yeah, is it eugenics? Yeah, sort of is, you know. And yeah, so more fatherless children, you know. I think obviously this can be used by women who gets a donor for the sperm then, you know. But they are marketing this as couples doing this to avoid diseases, which is a good thing, you know. But why are they then focusing on height and hair color, eye color? So you want typically, here's what I think will be the favorite. The favorite will be a 6 foot tall man. So a baby that will become a 6 foot tall man with blue eyes and high IQ. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this is not only in vitro fertilization. This is choosing, not just choosing away diseases, but choosing which embryo you want to use based on the prospects of eye color, hair color, height, IQ, and many other things. That's why they call it IVF plus. So that's I understand that this can be confused, but This is actually, now that I'm looking more at the website here, I just wanted to quickly comment on this, but I'm seeing quite clearly that this is not the same as in vitro fertilization. This is more than that, because they are mapping the genome of every single embryo or potential baby. And you can then pick and choose based on not only choosing away diseases, which is a good thing, I would say, but you can also choose based on prospects for, as I said, eye color, hair color, height, IQ, and 2014 more factors. So, not the same. This is not the same as in vitro fertilization. This is more than that. Now, it's not the same thing. Is an iPhone the same thing as a 20-year-old Nokia brick phone? It's not the same, right? So that's how we need to understand this. I think they will, if they get criticized, which I believe they already have been, they will probably say that has been done for many years, nothing new about this. But there is something new about this. That's my whole point here. As I said, it's not a bad thing to choose away, if you can, diseases. You can do a genetic test on yourself and your partner, and see if there are some diseases there. And some people choose not to have children because of that. But this is different, because, as I said, they call it family planning, but you are planning your baby, you're designing your baby. So enough about that. What I will say is that while your genes, not the ones you wear, but your genetics, matter quite a lot, we must not forget about your upbringing and the environment you grew up in. I think we all understand this. But if you grow up with healthy food, time to play, a good, healthy relationship with your parents, both your parents are present, to some extent at least. They have to work, I guess, and you grow up in close proximity to nature. You can spend a lot of time outdoors. You get access to education. You get to play, and you have intellectual stimulation through books and all of that. That's a recipe for a happy and successful life. And by successful, I don't necessarily mean, oh, you will climb the corporate ladder. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But successful in the sense that you feel that you can achieve your goals. Maybe you want to go to university, maybe you don't. Whatever you choose, you can do that, and you have, that kind of person, that has a lot to do with your upbringing, not only upbringing, because the genetics has a lot to say here. But I fear that some of these people choosing to do this might be a little bit special, and not in a good way, maybe. I might be wrong there, but yeah. So what to take away from this? This is not the same as in vitro fertilization. This is a pick and choose technology. They are very detailed, and you can pick and choose based on prospects like for height, eye color, and all of these things. Yeah. Yeah, it's not right. I'm tempted to say that too, but I will say that it's I will not judge people at all if they try to find out if they want to have children and they try to use this technology to avoid diseases. I think that's actually quite responsible. If your family has a history of, you know, some kind of disease, then maybe you should try to use this technology to avoid that for your child. Yeah, I think so. High IQ does not equal intelligence. High IQ, well, IQ is a marker of high intelligence. What that means is that people who score high on the IQ tests, not the ones online, but the proper tests, they generally have high intelligence. It's a very good marker for intelligence. Sorry. A childhood friend of mine had extremely high IQ, but would not trust him when okay, sit the correct way up on the toilet. Yeah, there are smart idiots out there, but we're talking about the statistics here. So if you had to bet, probability and statistics. So if you have a person with scores high on the IQ chart, that person is probably a very intelligent person. That's just how it is. Yeah, some people don't like this. Well, yeah. I have seen some real suffering. As you get older, you tend to see that more and more, and I think it's good to use technology to avoid that suffering. I think so. Life is suffering, says Jamie, no matter how you slice it. I don't agree. I don't think life is suffering. I think life is good. But there is a Christian component here that I guess if you are very Christian or Muslim or whatever, you think that based on that this is wrong. Yeah, but that's different. That's a personal religion thing. So, nothing to do with religion capitalized. I think you would also see a correlation between people being negative to this and those who are quite religious. I think you would see a correlation there. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but if you can use a test like this to avoid bone cancer in children, I think that's a good thing to do. But we're all different, I guess. Designing your baby, however, is questionable. Okay. Have a nice one. We'll talk soon.